Brent, good to see you. We start with a really important question. Are you taking on too much risk? We have 4 signs that you might be. Risk isn't just about numbers, it's about how you feel when market conditions change. So let's talk through those 4 signs that you may be taking on more risk than you should. Sign number 1, you check your accounts constantly, but how often is too often?
Good question. So to be honest, I don't really care how often clients check their accounts. I'm more worried about how they feel when they check them.
Right.
So I always tell clients, like, good baseline, you should at least check your statement once every month. The front page is going to tell you everything you need to know, how the month played out, what fees you paid, all that good stuff. But to be honest, nowadays with apps and everything, clients are checking it very, very often. But I remind the ones who struggle when they check it on a bad day that, hey, we've got a plan in place and it's okay to have some volatility every now and again. And if they continue to say, Brent, I'm just getting super worried about this, I have no problem saying, quit checking it. It's not good for your health. It's just not good for your health.
Yes.
So it just kind of depends on the person.
Reminder. Good point. On that note, sign number 2, do you lose sleep when the market drops? Because as you mentioned, apps, everything, sometimes it's really hard to tune out the headlines.
Yeah, and that's kind of what our concern is for some of our clients, and more so for people who aren't working with a professional. If these market swings are causing you problems, you may have a house that's not in order. And it always goes back to leaning on the plan. So when I sit down with somebody, I explain, look, for almost every scenario, we're going to need a high growth bucket. Now, that high growth bucket, we know that it could drop 10, 20, 30% very, very quickly. But if you have a plan where you know that everything is going to be fine, there should be no stress.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of times I have to remind them there should be no stress and then why there should be no stress. But if you're having a hard time and you're losing sleep over it, you may need to talk to a professional and figure out what's going on.
Right. And that all brings us to sign number 3. We as humans tend to feel stress. We tend to react emotionally. We've talked about this before, Brent. It's known as emotional investing. The best way to explain it is through the eyes of George Costanza. Explain what we're looking at.
Correct. So in this episode, which I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, and my father will enjoy this as well, if every instinct that you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right. And so what we have seen, especially during sometimes like the most recent tariff tantrum where the market dropped 20%, retail investors are going out there and they're liquidating to cash after the market's dropped 10, 20%. Folks, it's too late. You're going to not time it correctly. And so it's kind of amazing. One of the main parts of my job is to be the calm in the storm. And so we like to send out updates and stuff to our clients and say, hey guys, this is what's going on. This is what's causing it. But please do not lose sleep, because we know what's going on and we know it's going to recover. And if we lean on the plan, everything will be okay.
Yeah, that volatility has already been built into the plan and perhaps even opportunities to capitalize on it. All right, last sign, you feel pressure to chase returns, aka FOMO.
Well, usually the people chasing returns are the ones who made bad decisions when the market dropped and they sold at a bad time. Mm-hmm. So I always remind folks, we are long-term investors. Okay. I don't care if you're 25 or if you're 65, we're long-term investors. The plans will differ very, very greatly. So if I've got a 25-year-old and I've got them all in aggressive growth, and I will tell them market could drop 30, 40%, but you don't care because your 65-year-old self will thank you.
Right.
So it's very important to stay the plan, and then the plan needs to evolve. I always tell folks, we are not the set it and forget it advisor. You're not going to come in one time and we go, okay, it's all fixed, everything's fine. Things change, your risk tolerance, your risk appetite, all those things will change, and it needs to be reviewed at least once or twice a year.
Mm-hmm. And you've just hit on this, but I think it bears repeating. How can working with a financial advisor help us stay in line with our risk tolerance?
Well, to be honest, it's just like the same reason you go to the doctor. Like, everybody knows that you should eat well and exercise, but if you're not making the right choices and you come down and you meet with a professional and they say, hey, do you see where you liquidated here? See how that was a bad deal? Do you see where you bought at the top and then sold at the bottom? It's important to just be the voice of reason and to be the professional to say, we've got a plan. You're going to be fine. This is why we did it. Your whole plan is not dependent on if the stock market goes up or down. I think that is what's the most important part of it.
Right. Absolutely. Having somebody to have that conversation with is often very, very helpful so we don't make emotional decisions. Well, Brent, if somebody would like to sit down with you, find out what their risk tolerance is, because it's going to be different from everybody else's, create a financial plan around it, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, I think call the office 614-430-8383 or go to young-wm.com. If you're losing sleep over this stuff, you really shouldn't, because we've been on one heck of a bull run the last several years. So I'd love to talk about it.
Great. Brent, thank you.
Thank you.